Hello, and welcome to Sanlando Sound Waves. I'm Leva Kotkin, and this is Week 9, Day 41. Today our reading is Genesis 11, 1 through 9, from the New International Version translation of the Bible. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there, the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. Now let's consider our 7 arrows, or 7 questions, that we've been using to study the passages we read each day. You may want to pause the podcast after each one to have time to reflect. What does this passage say? What did this passage mean to its original audience? What does this passage tell us about God? What does this passage tell us about humanity? What does this passage demand of me? How does this passage change the way I relate to people? And what does this passage prompt me to pray to God? Now let's look at a brief devotional about the passage on page 57 of our book, The 7 Arrows. Genesis 11 is a repeat performance of Genesis 6 in many ways. Both follow on the heels of God's creation work, one, the original creation in the garden, and the other, God's new creation following the flood. And in each case, the people rebelled against God and his purposes in the world. At this point, humans have spread out over the face of the earth, taking with them their sinful passions. At Babel, they selfishly decided to build a tower to the heavens. Rather than multiplying and filling the earth with God's image, the people settled down, gathered together, and tried to exalt themselves. They didn't succeed. In spite of their best efforts, the Almighty God had to stoop down out of heaven to see their little tower. Once again, God judged the people for their sin, this time by confusing their languages and making it impossible for them to build the tower effectively. He then accomplished in judgment what the people should have done on mission. He scattered these broken image bearers throughout the earth. One day, because of Jesus' work, God will regather his people from the ends of the earth to reflect him perfectly and permanently once again. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you tomorrow.